Hey there, my name's Chris. I'm one of the founders of Seatti, and today I just wanted to take a moment to give you a quick high-level overview of our solution. Maybe just as a brief introduction, what's kind of our objective with Seatti. On the one hand, definitely want to make it possible to just book shared workspaces as easily and quickly and intuitively as possible within your office. But then we also have a quite collaborative component where the idea is to share when you're planning to work from where, see also where your colleagues are, and based on that kind of meet each other in person more frequently again, but with less coordination effort. And on top of that, we also want to help team managers and team leads bring their teams closer together despite the physical distance that hybrid work might entail, so that you have closer collaboration, better employee retention, and at the end of the day, also just more fun at work. So let's dive right into it. I'm sharing the Microsoft Teams integrated version since we're in the Teams App Store right now. But of course, you can also use it as a standalone application if you prefer. Generally speaking, just for ease of implementation, ease of use, and also for cybersecurity, we just generally have a very strong Microsoft integrability focus, meaning we use the Microsoft single sign-on, as you see, integrated in the Teams App Store. Rooms booking is also bidirectionally synced with Exchange and Outlook. We integrate with your Azure Active Directory. So all in all, that just to make it quite easy to implement, and then also, of course, to use for the end user. But let's maybe dive right into the core functionality. So as an end user, I basically have two main areas in which I can utilize Seatti. On the one hand, I have the planning component where I can just book different types of workspaces in the office. And then on the other hand, I have the meetup dashboard where I can also see who's working from where, who's planning to come to the office when. So as I mentioned earlier, here basically this idea of just having less coordination effort and seeing your colleagues more frequently. But let's maybe start with the planning component. So as you see here, I'm booking a workspace for Tuesday. I have a couple of workspaces that are being suggested to me based on my historical booking data, and I could just book those with one click just to make it super easy for the user. But of course, I can also say I want to add a different type of booking, and I'll hop right into there. And now here you see we have different types of components. On the one hand, we have the desk booking component, then we have the component to book rooms, phone booths, etc. And then also parking stations, e-charging stations, and these types of, anything related to cars, let's say. And last but not least, also the ability to book for other people, could be colleagues, team members, maybe also external guests. So definitely also something we cover. Starting off maybe in the desk booking process, the first step is typically to define a time. So I can just say maybe I want it for all day, just for the morning, or really for a very specific time by the minute. And then I can select between different offices, as you can see here. I also see the number of bookings that have already been made in that office for that day. And then within the office, I can choose between different areas. These areas can be, activity-based working zones, team areas, and could also be several different floors in an office. You can customize this completely individually. But what is important here is you can also define rules who can book which area. Also, again, oftentimes for data privacy reasons. And of course, you can get a visual overview of any designated area. Also see which colleague is sitting where, and either book a desk right here or also take a look in the drop-down what the equipment is on the respective desks. And once I select it, one kind of cool little add-on, I think, from a collaborative point of view is I can also share what I'm planning to work on while I'm sitting at that desk. So this will be shared under the Meetup dashboard so that my colleagues can see, okay, Chris isn't only sitting here, but he's also going to be working on a specific project, or maybe he's open to socialize, maybe he wants to do focus work, just so they also know if it's kind of the right moment to be sitting next to me. And last but not least, we really work very closely with a bunch of publicly traded companies with cybersecurity, data privacy teams, and workers' councils. And one example of that is that we've introduced the ability also to book anonymously so that I can book a desk, but if I don't want other people to see that it's my booking, that's no problem at all. Now, if I make that booking, we also have a Teams integrated check-in process where on the day of the booking, I'm just going to get an automated message in Teams saying, hey, Chris, you booked the desk today. Do you want to use it or not? And then I can just check in or also release the booking so that really only those desks are booked that are being utilized. But at the same time, very high data privacy standard because through this process, there's no time tracking actually happening. So that's the quite easy process in that regard. Then, of course, I could also book a meeting room. Here, bidirectionally exchanged with Exchange and Outlook. Our goal is really just to make it a bit more intuitive and also a bit more extensive in terms of feature set compared to Outlook. One example of this is that I can filter the rooms by various offices, even by areas in the office. I can again get a visual overview of where a certain room is right over here. And on top of that, once I've gave my meeting a name, selected a time, inviting my guests, etc., I can also filter by capacity, by equipment within the room, and I can also book additional services such as catering, or also maybe other types of services. Maybe I want certain equipment in the room or a different setup of the room. And then I just go ahead and book it, and when that's done, I get an invite in my Outlook calendar, my guests get one, there's a Teams link in case someone wants to join remotely, so I think we really covered everything in that regard. Yeah, and then last but not least, on the planning side, the ability to book parking lots. Here the booking flow is very, very similar to the desk booking process. I can choose by offices, different areas, have a visual overview, and then just book the parking lot that I prefer for a designated time, of course. Yeah, and then I'll hop over to the Meetup dashboard. So here, really the core idea I like to explain with one example. Let's say it's Sunday evening. I'm thinking whether or not I should go to the office the next day, and I just have no idea who's going to be there. And we all know that horror scenario of maybe commuting to the office for an hour and realizing no one's there, and we definitely want to avoid that. So what I could do here is just hop onto the Monday and check out, let's see where my favorites are working. And I see right away that 4 of my favorite colleagues are working from the Munich office. I can book nearby them. I can also have a quick look at who else is booked into the Munich office, but could also see who's maybe working from home on a business trip, etc. And beyond that, I can filter by different teams and search for different people. And once I found the right person, with one click, can just book the workspace directly next to them. So here, as I mentioned, really the idea of more personal meetups with less effort for coordination. And from an end user perspective, that's really the most important topics. Of course, on the administrative side, we have a multi-level administrability so that you can really either globally or hyper-locally manage Seatti, however you prefer it. We have analytics dashboards, etc. I'd be happy to show that and also all the other features in more detail to you. Feel free to just reach out to me or the team. We'll share the contact info, and that's all. Thanks so much for your time. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.